Hello. Isn't it amusing that in the West we admire the man who has everything, power, wealth, recognition, but perhaps the greater strength lies in the one who can let it all go. We chase after success, crave recognition, and cling to what we think is ours. We're taught that life is about getting ahead, about owning what we desire. But what if true power lies not in getting, but in letting go? The Ramayana presents a world deeply relevant today. It tells the tale of Ram, the prince of Ayodhya, who is exiled, not for any fault of his own. His father, King Dashrath, had once granted 2 boons to his wife Kaikeyi after she saved his life in battle. Years later, Kaikeyi cashes in on these promises, demanding that her own son Bharat be crowned king instead, and that Ram be exiled for 14 years. When the moment arrives, Dashrath is devastated but bound by his word. He sends his beloved son Ram to the forest. The royal family is thrown into chaos. Grief shatters Queen Kaushalya's heart. She was struck with a sorrow so deep she wondered how it did not break into pieces. Despite this crushing betrayal, Ram remains unmoved. His world has turned upside down, yet without a single lament, he prepares to leave. He could have fought back, refused to go. He was the rightful heir after all. But instead, he bows his head and walks into exile. Not out of weakness, not out of helplessness, but because some things are just greater than power. And maybe that's the real question. Not how much you can hold on to, but what are you willing to let go of? Because for Ram, breaking a vow was unthinkable. Life may be lost, but a promise must be kept. This principle, central to the Ikshvaku clan, teaches us that one's word is more sacred than life itself. And so Ram chooses duty over comfort, exile over the throne. But this raises a painful question. Why must the righteous suffer? It seems so unfair to Ram. Why do bad things happen to good people? How often have we asked the very same questions when life deals us an unjust hand? Why me? Yet, Ram does not resist fate. He does not demand justice. Instead, he simply accepts, saying, "This is karma. This is the result of my actions, that the empire just slipped through my fingers, and I accept it. And I feel no sadness or anger about it because I have established control over my mind." Ram tells Lakshman to restrain his sorrow and anger, but Lakshman was furious. Loyal to Ram, he could not accept this. He challenges his brother. Cowards hide behind karma. Those who are incapable blame fate. But you, Ram, are most capable and brave. So then why won't you stand up against this injustice? Lakshman's frustration mirrors our own. How can karma justify suffering? How does one accept what feels so undeserved? The principle of karma tells us that every action has a reaction. Sometimes the connection is clear. Eat well, stay healthy. Work hard, succeed. Be kind, receive kindness. But sometimes life hits us in ways we cannot explain. That's where the real challenge arises, when we face consequences without remembering the cause. We ask, "Why me?" Karma answers, "It is not random. It is the fruit of our past actions, not just from this life, but perhaps from lives before." The effects of our actions are not only etched into our physical body and mind, but also into our Atma, our eternal consciousness. And thus, some consequences are seen now, though the action that caused them were taken in a previous form. So Ram's strength lies in his understanding of karma. He does not see himself as a victim of circumstances. He does not throw up his hands in despair. Instead, he takes responsibility, because with responsibility comes power. If we are responsible for the now, we are also responsible for shaping the future. The question can then shift from "why me?" to "what can I do about it now?" So, karma is not an excuse for inaction. It is actually the very opposite. Those who truly understand it know that every choice, even inaction, is an action with consequences. This is well explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Nahi kaschit kshanam api jatu tishtaya karma krit karyate hyavasha karma sarva prakriti jair gune. Not even a moment's action can be abandoned by anyone. Everyone is bound to perform their prescribed duties by their gunas born of nature. However, one who renounces the fruit of action is said to have truly renounced. To live consciously is to understand that every decision we make or fail to make shapes our life's course. Ram knew this. His acceptance of exile was not just passive submission, it was an active choice rooted in his dharma. And do not mistake Ram's patience for weakness. The same Ram who bowed his head and accepted exile would later move heaven and earth to bring Sita back when she was taken from him. There is a time for acceptance and a time for action. Ram knew the difference. Ram's story is incomplete though without Bharat. When the kingdom is handed to him, Bharat refuses. To him, Ayodhya belongs to Ram, and so in an act of devotion he places Ram's sandals on the throne and rules in his brother's name. How ironic! One brother lost a kingdom and smiled, while the other gained a kingdom and mourned. And now in stark contrast to all of this stands Ravan. As the ruler of Lanka, Ravan was powerful and capable leader. His reign is often depicted as prosperous with wealth, cultural advancements, and a strong military force. A brilliant scholar, a fierce warrior, and a powerful king. He had everything, but he desired more, and in chasing what wasn't his, he lost what was. His karma caught up with him, not through divine punishment, but through the weight of his own choices. Desire, when unchecked, burns everything it touches. Because life is inherently impermanent. As in the Atharva Veda it says, you come empty-handed and you leave empty-handed. What you possess is not yours, it belongs to the world. You are a steward and your duty is to give, not to hoard. In a world that often feels heavy, where we struggle to make sense of our challenges, the universe itself moves with us. Just as we are in constant motion, restless in our journey from point A to point B, the Earth endlessly rotates on its axis while it orbits the Sun within the Milky Way that drifts among other galaxies, and those galaxies in turn float through the vast expanse of the universe. And when that weight of this relentless movement feels unbearable, it's in the Earth's quiet, steady motion that we find solace, a cradling reminding us that even in our restlessness, we are held by something much larger than ourselves. Life's flow is not something to fight, but something to align with. Ram's detachment was not about running away, it was about embracing what was, without clinging to what could have been. The Ramayana, believe what you may, is nothing short of extraordinary. Think about it. It's a tale of the ideal man, the perfect man, surviving centuries of upheaval, invasions, and endless reinterpretations, yet never losing its essence. This text has shaped civilizations. It's endured countless revisions, inspired devotion across languages and lands, and sparked the Bhakti movement itself, fought for, lived for, and passed down with unshakable faith, the Aadikavya, not just lasting, but alive. Now tell me, isn't that something divine? Namaste.